Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be doing a comparison on the 80D and the T6i. So if you want to see this, then just keep watching. So first of all, I am filming on the 80D right now. That is what I'm filming with. I have the 18-35 Sigma lens on here, and we have, I'm just looking at my screen, we have 160 shutter speed, we have a 2.5 aperture, and we have 400 ISO. So I have the exact same settings set up on my T6i. So we're gonna go ahead and switch now to the T6i. So here is the T6i. I have the exact same settings on here. Now I do feel like they do look different. I feel like my T6i is a little bit brighter, more saturated, but I have the same exact like filter, little picture style and settings on the 80D, but it is a different camera. So we're just gonna have to fiddle around with the 80D's settings to make it look like this. At least I'm pretty sure it looks different, and if it does, don't worry too much about that. It's not the 80D, it's not like the 80D sucks or anything like that. We just have to play with it a little bit to get it perfect, which takes a while, you guys. If you guys look at some of my older videos when I first started using the T6i compared to now, huge difference. So it definitely takes some tweaking and things of that sort. So definitely not the camera, so don't worry about that. We're just worrying about the quality and how it works and things of that sort. So one thing I've already noticed is the autofocus system is so much faster, and it just keeps the focus on me so much better than this T6i does. Because I've noticed, like, if I move around and stuff on my T6i, it'll, you know, go out of focus and then back in focus. And I've already noticed with the 80D that I can be moving around doing, you know, whatever, and I'm still in focus. It does a really good at like tracking you, and that's just because it has a different autofocus system. The T6i has a hybrid autofocus system, and the 80D has a dual pixel autofocus system. So it's definitely upgraded. It's one of the best that you can get. Very, very great for videography and things of that sort, or if you're taking like fast photos and stuff. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys first off a difference between the two, like an actual video footage, because I'm sure you guys want to see that. So that is the video footage difference between the two. So now I'm going to put both of these cameras down, talk about them, and I'm going to be filming with my G7x, so the quality is going to change as well as the audio. So yes, just want to let you know that, and we're going to go into further detail on the differences of each camera. So here we have the T6i right here, and we have the new 80D right here. So first off, I just kind of want to point out the noticeable differences. So obviously the dials are on opposite sides now, and we have this LCD screen up on the top. This is really great for photographers. That way they can just glance down really quick and change these settings. So we've got the different dial, the LCD screen, also the on and off switches are in different locations. This is on the top, where this is on like the side of the camera. Now we have the viewfinder. So this is actually a little bit bigger on the 80D, and we can see here that the T6i is just a little bit smaller. And the only other noticeable differences is that this has a lock right here, and I'm not quite sure what that's for yet. I think that's for maybe the SD card or something. But then we have the dial right here. So obviously we have like a little D-pad right here, and then we have a scroll dial, which is so awesome. But if you don't like that, you can still click, you know, up, down, and side to side. Those are kind of some of the noticeably different features of the appearance. Now we're going to go ahead and kind of look at the smaller details. So now we have a start-stop button where you can switch it from picture mode, which this is going to put it in live view, and if you put it in movie mode, this is going to start recording and stop recording. So now we don't have that on here. We just have just one switch, and this works for both functions, live view mode and recording. Another cool thing about the 80D is it actually has a spring in the SD card slot. So see, if you just push it up, it just automatically has that little spring, you know, so it just flies open, which is great. And on the T6i, you actually have to see how it does not go up and, or, you know, it doesn't have that spring. You actually have to, you know, open it up manually, which isn't really a big deal, but it's just kind of nice. Next, we're just going to go ahead and take a look at the ports at the camera. So again, this is the T6i, this is the 80D. So on the T6i, we've got the HDMI cord and that little AV out. I think that's a mini HDMI. We still have those in here, so that's great. And on the T6i, we have a spot for a remote and an external mic. But what's really cool about this is, so here's your spot for your remote right here, but we also have a spot for a headphone jack. So you have an external mic and a headphone jack, so you can like monitor your audio quality in real time. So having that extra feature might be a huge plus for some of you guys. For me personally though, I'm not that tech savvy yet, so I won't be using that function. Maybe I will in the future though. So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn both of the cameras on. Now what's really cool about both of these, of course, is that they do have that flip out screen, and it's also touch screen, both of them, and they also both have Wi-Fi function capabilities, so you can connect them both to your camera and transfer images to your phone and whatnot. I'm trying not to have any glare, so I have the cameras in a little bit of a weird position. So one thing I wanted to point out, which is really cool and might be a huge game changer for you guys, is while you're in video mode, you can actually, in the 80D, you can record in 1080p and 60 frames per second, while the T6i can only go up to basically 30 frames per second in 1080p. This does not have the capability of going to 60 frames per second, so that is definitely a little bit of a downfall with the T6i. However, if you are just doing videos like me, just kind of sit down videos, it might not be that much of a downfall for you, but it is definitely worth mentioning. So another thing is that while in video mode, the T6i can go only up to 6400 ISO, while the 80D can go up to 12,800 ISO. I don't know when you would ever need to be that, you know, in that high of an ISO mode, but it's a nice option. Now, taking a look at the tech specs and everything, the T6i actually has a different autofocusing system. It has the hybrid CMOS autofocus system, and while it is good, it is not as fast as the 80D system. So the 80D has a dual CMOS autofocus system, which it just does a better job at focusing and tracking things, and it's just a lot faster. That I have noticed anyway. So of course the faster autofocusing system is going to work amazingly for YouTube videos or photos or what have you. It's going to work really well, and it's definitely a huge plus. Now, another great thing is that the T6i has only 19 cross-type autofocus points, and guess how many the 80D has? It has 45 cross-type autofocus points. Now, that is quite a huge upgrade, which is also another reason why the autofocusing system works really great. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and switch to just regular shooting mode. So I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to go to shooting mode on here and not video recording mode. So another huge difference between the T6i and 80D is that the T6i only shoots in 5 frames per second. Now the 80D is 7 frames per second, so that's quite a bit faster and quite a good upgrade if you're shooting like sports photography or anything like that where you need it to be very fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you guys. So we're just going to go on continuous shooting, and we're going to do the same thing for the 80D, continuous high speed. Okay, so here we have the T6i. That is how fast it goes. And here's the 80D. As you can tell, that is quite a bit faster. So like I said, it's going to be really beneficial to those of you who are taking sports photography or anything that you know, it needs to be very fast. So that is a great upgrade to the 80D. So now we have the 80D right here. And another thing I wanted to mention is that it has a time-lapse feature, which is really, really cool, you guys. So the camera that I'm filming on right now, the G7x, has a time-lapse feature, and it is really, really cool. I used it during my Hawaii vlog, and it turned out pretty awesome. And it's just a cool feature to have. While, you know, some people might think it's a little gimmicky, I think it's pretty cool, and it's a great feature to have. And the T6i does not have this feature, so it's just a really cool feature to have if you are into film production, filmography, and, you know, just all that cool stuff. Now, another thing I quickly want to mention about the 80D that I forgot to mention about the dial is it actually, you see how it has this button right here? The T6i does not have that little button. So what that button does is it actually locks the mode that you're shooting on, which can be very helpful. So as you can see right now, I'm not able to move my shooting mode. So you just hold it down and twist it at the same time and then let back up, and it's locked on that specific shooting mode. So this is really cool. Like, say you're filming or something or shooting and you accidentally hit it, you'd have to go back into your settings, change everything, and, you know, get it all set up again. And if you're a photographer who's out in a location where maybe the sun's setting and you need to get pictures really fast or something, you know, it's just a nice feature to have that little lock function. The only other difference that I have noticed, you guys, is the fact that it has a different battery. So the 80D uses the LPE6N battery, and the T6i uses the LPE17 battery. Here we have the batteries right here. Now obviously you can tell that the T6i's battery is much smaller than the 80D battery, and that's for a good reason. It actually has a better battery life, so it'll last longer. And I definitely have noticed this while filming, because usually I have to go through about 1.5 batteries while filming with the T6i. Like, usually one battery dies and then I go through about half of the next battery. This one, I lasted the entire time with one battery, and I still have some battery to spare. So that is awesome. You have more battery life. So of course that is always beneficial when you're filming videos, because videos take up more battery, they take up more card space and all that jazz. So yeah, you guys, that is pretty much all of the differences between the T6i and the 80D. Now, I don't remember if I forgot to mention this or not, but of course the size is a little bit bigger. The 80D is a little bit bigger, you guys. So if you want something that's more compact, more small, easier to carry around, then the T6i might be a better choice. But honestly, once you put a heavy lens on there, like I have on there, I have the same lens, you know, they feel about the same. They're both pretty heavy. So to me, that doesn't make a huge difference. But yes, those are all of the differences between the T6i and the 80D. It really, you know, they're honestly both great cameras. It's just, let's say you have a Rebel series right now and you want to upgrade. This is definitely well worth the money, but it's not needed. The picture quality with both of these pictures are both really, really great. Of course, the 80D is going to be a little bit better because it's got a better autofocusing system. It's really crisp and clear. So with that being said, it's really up to you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and cut to the outro. Alright guys, so those are all of the differences from the T6i and the 80D that I know of anyway, and yeah, it's definitely a little bit of an upgrade. You know, it's basically up to you if you want to get the T6i or the 80D, or even the T7i. They have the T7i now in the Rebel series. So it's up to you guys. They're certainly both amazing cameras, as you guys can see in the video footage. It's basically up to you. So if you need a faster camera overall, the 80D is the way to go because it has an upgraded, faster autofocusing system. It's got 7 frames per second, and that's so incredibly fast, and it works really great in sports photography. So if you need it for that, or for videography with a fast autofocusing system, then, you know, this is the camera to go with. But if you need to save a few dollars, then the T6i is a good choice too. So those are pretty much all of the differences between the T6i and the 80D. Now, know, it's definitely up to you guys whether you think it's worth it to get the 80D or not, and you know, do you want to save some money and kind of skip on a few features, or do you want to spend the extra money to basically have everything you ever need in a camera? So that is pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and for more videos like this, definitely leave a comment below of what you would like to see with either the T6i or the 80D or even my G7x. So definitely leave those below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!